Go to Ranking Member Omar from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In recent years, we have seen troubling examples of AI-enabled surveillance harming workers. Whole Foods reportedly used an internal heat map that ranked stores by unionization risk. And many warehouse workers have criticized Amazon's use of invasive monitoring software, putting their health, safety, and privacy at risk. A 2023 study found that 53% of always pressured Amazon workers were injured compared to 28% of those rare pressured. Mr. Parker, you noted in your testimony that these automated management tools can create fear of surveillance and job loss. Can you explain how AI-enabled monitoring could lead to real health and safety risk for workers?
Thank you, Ranking Member Omar. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Let me first begin with the mental health implications of some of the more aggressive kind of surveillance methods that you are referring to. I think that anybody who has had experience with working on the job, understands that even though they're in an employer setting, there is some level of privacy that intuitively they expect, and they certainly do not expect constant surveillance. And so these kinds of methods can have a kind of damaging and draining effect on a worker. They can create stress and anxiety. If it's directly related to performance, then they can certainly have greater anxiety about job loss because they fear that these levels of performance measures are putting their job at risk. When I was at OSHA, I spoke to an Amazon worker who showed me a little laminated card that showed each of the steps in the packaging process that they were to use when they were sending out, packing a package and sending it on for delivery from their workstation. And it showed a 37-second period of time in which they were required to complete their job. Now, Amazon denied that this was their policy and that they denied that there was a quota, but it almost doesn't matter because if the employer believes that they're under that kind of pressure based on the tools that are being used, they're going to work faster, they're going to be at greater risk of injury because you're introducing strains and the possibility of working to failure biomechanically when a worker's under those kinds of pressures.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Parker, you have the unique perspective as someone who ran both federal OSHA and state OSHA agency. Can you start by briefly reminding the committee about what the OSHA state plan program is?
Yes, the state plan program is in the OSHA Act. It permits a state that wishes to have its own OSHA program to apply, and if it meets certain conditions, then federal OSHA will delegate its authority to that state, and the state agency becomes responsible for enforcing and regulating health and safety laws on the job in that state.
Mm-hmm. And what would happen if states were prevented from regulating any workplace safety hazards related to AI, and how long could workers have to wait before any protections were in place?
Well, I think that it's kind of it's almost impossible to answer because it's inevitable that the things that states and federal government currently regulate are going to be impacted by AI, and they can't meaningfully do their jobs and carry out their mission without understanding AI and being able to, do regulation in ways that are necessarily going to implicate these tools that have been integrated into their work. I mean, if OSHA can regulate a conveyor system, but that conveyor system is algorithmically managed by AI, they can't separate those two out in their thinking about the system.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to